The world is one big illusion. How can a world be real when everything is run by something that is fake? Fiat currency, the dollar, Federal Reserve notes, those aren't even real. They haven't been real since 1933, and all debts are supposed to be paid for by the government. They needed to make a fictional currency for everybody to live off of. That's where the dollar comes in. That's where fiat currency comes in. It's not real because it's really not backed by anything. The government can continue to print money over and over and over, and yet we're trillions of dollars in debt. Because the United States isn't I would say a government. It's a corporation. Silence is acquiescence. Silence is agreement. So if you go through with something that is not just or true, you become complicit. That's how all of law works. So basically, everybody that consented to doing this, even though they had the right not to, said that they were okay with it in the eyes of law. And that's the manipulation behind it all. Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is living your life off of a social security number that never fucking mattered. And then the government was able to take away everything from you. An awakened mind is the threat.
Mr. Joel Bauman,
Yes, sir.
I believe we have lots to talk about.
Indeed.
So let's say, imagine I'm a 10-year-old to 12-year-old, and I get to find out what the world is like, up to you. So what the world is up to you in 2026?
I need to explain it to a 10-year-old.
10-year-old, yes.
I would say that the world is one big illusion, meaning the world that we operate in every day, or we believe we operate in every day. And to see beyond the illusion will bring you the ability to actually live in truth. Yeah.
Give me an example. Illusion what? Sports is fake? Super Bowl that is right now, it's fake?
Everything is fake, yes.
Do you actually believe that the sport is fixed?
I don't believe that all sports are fixed, but I believe that the people who own the sports understand psychology, and they also understand energy, and they understand things like astrology and numerology, and they use that to their advantage. Now, do I think the NFL might be scripted? Yes. Fighting, that's hard to say, but at the same time, if you got paid to throw a fight, that's a script, and I believe that a lot of people have got paid to throw fights, and we're seeing that now with the UFC scandals.
Right, multiple.
So, yeah, I think money talks, and I think that's the point. What I was saying earlier about the world being fake, how can a world be real when everything is run by something that is fake? Fiat currency, the dollar, Federal Reserve notes, those aren't even real. They haven't been real since 1933, and all debts are supposed to be paid for by the government. HJR 190-192 states that. So everybody basically has sold their soul for the dollar or for a job that they don't even want to work. They're not following their passion. They're not following their dreams. So I would say, yes, majority of the world is fake in that regard.
Why 1933?
1933 is when, in America, the gold standard was taken away. They basically said that they were taking away the gold standard, and that's why they gave us dollars. So HJR-192, if you're going to look that up.
I always thought that was in the 70s.
No.
30s. 1933, gold ownership and domestic gold standard ended. During the Great Depression, President Franklin Roosevelt, FDR, stopped Americans from exchanging dollars for gold. The government required citizens to turn in most of their gold coins, and the dollar was still indirectly tied to gold internationally, but not for US citizens anymore. So basically they said if you have gold, you have to turn it in?
Yeah.
How come?
Because
If not, what? They will come with guns? They will take it away?
basically they needed to make a fictional currency for everybody to live off of. That's where the dollar comes in. That's where fiat currency comes in. It's not real because it's really not backed by anything. The government can continue to print money over and over and over, and yet we're trillions of dollars in debt. So what's the money backed off of? Well, here's what it's backed off of. It's backed off of you. It's backed off of me. Your social security number, for instance, it's not what a lot of people think it is. It is a contract that basically you're consenting to be property of the state. So that's where they're getting the value. Think about it. When you sign a contract for a job, do you have to write your social security number down? You absolutely do. Well, that's traded and bonded on the secondary market.
How?
That's the point.
How?
By bonds and QSIPs and quips, all of that. That's where they're getting the value from you. You're worth a lot of money on the secondary market. It's the same principle of prisons. Prisons, when somebody goes to jail, they make millions off of that, off of a single person in prison. They make a lot of money on that on the back end.
Who they? The prison itself?
Yes, the prison itself, the governing bodies. That's why the prisons continue to get filled. Has it ever felt like you wonder why the world is backwards? You feel like the world is backwards. Like, why are the prisons continuing to get filled with petty and small, what seem like small crimes, but the people pushing the safe and effectives who hurt and injured millions of people never got put in prison? Well, it's because it's all backed off of and based off of money.
Okay, so how many % of US prisons are private? So let's see what the ChatGPT says. About 8% of people in the US state and federal prisons are housed in private. Only 8%. So federal prisons are governments. They're not private, but they still earn money.
Well, yes.
They get money from the government. Okay. And how do they spend that money? The CEO, the head of that prison gets
Who knows
$1 million a year?
Who knows how they spend that money? I mean, we're now seeing how people have been spending tax dollars in the Epstein files, doing God knows what. We saw a lot, I would say. We saw potential cannibalism, child sacrifice.
Yeah, but everything was redacted.
Well, there's 3 million files that came out, but 3 million files have yet to be shown. And a lot of the things that were redacted were names of perpetrators, not victims. So why are you, if there's nothing to hide, and this is where we can get into some fun stuff. This is a gift I brought for you, by the way. This is one of my books.
Thank you.
It's called 99 Maxims for the Uncommon Man. Maxims, you spoke of law, right? It's not illegal to basically send a text message that might implicate you of a crime. Fair enough. Maxim 71 says, the law is made for man, not man for the law. And I would argue that a lot of our law today is protecting, and our courts today are protecting people who aren't actually doing good by the people. So if the government holds the interest of the people, and over 90% of the people want those files unredacted, then that government technically is illegitimate. So they're still receiving tax dollars. They're still receiving the benefit of the hedge of the title of government, but they're not benefiting the people. So to me, that's a crime. That's the biggest crime. If you're doing something against the interest of the people that you are supposed to serve, well, then you're not the servers of the people. Then what are you?
Okay, but can you name me a country in the world that serves their people? Because I believe it's like the definition of a government is to serve themselves, not the people.
Well, if that were the case, then there would be no reason for elections. So people elect people because they think that they're going to do something for their benefit. So can I name a country that really does that? I would say no, because we saw during COVID how all of these governments went against the interest of the people.
Right.
So I would say we are now into the phase that they want to be in, which is the New World Order. And that was just spoke on this past week, where they said, yeah, we are now in the New World Order. That's why they're getting ready to make XRP and XLM and Ripple basically the new standard currency, why they've defaulted on all of the debt and why they need to revamp that debt with said new currency. So I guess to answer your question, there is no government right now that I would say is serving its people 100%. And that's why we're in an illusion.
So in 2020, during the COVID, right, when COVID hit, there were only 2 countries in the world. Most people say there was only one country in the world that didn't do the lockdown. That was Sweden. But actually, there was another country that is a neighboring country to my home country, Lithuania. That was Belarus. So Belarus and Sweden did not do any lockdowns. So one could argue, they worked for the interest of their own people. But at the same time, I would call it an experiment.
Of course.
So these are 2 countries. One is, let's say, communist, tied to Russia, Belarus. Another is a Western country, Sweden.
Yeah.
We watch what happens with this country without any lockdowns. But then we will still force the shots. So this is what it was, an experiment.
Here's where it gets interesting. Because when you look at governments forcing shots, did they really force them?
No, they took away your rights. A right to go to the groceries, to see a doctor,
Bingo.
or to the gas station.
Bingo.
But technically, you could survive.
If you had a farm, if you were growing your own food, if you were sovereign.
Or ordering, let's say, groceries online.
Or living off grid and you had all your food.
Yeah, but there were nurses, doctors, teachers, firefighters, and military. If you don't do the shot,
yes,
you're fired.
So now you're about to prove my point. So the reason I wrote this book, or I didn't write this book, basically over the last year, what I did is I programmed and trained an AI off of the Constitution, off of the Bill of Rights, off of the maxims of law, off of Black's Law Dictionary, off of everything that I possibly could to create an AI, because I was totally against it in the beginning. But then for the last 5 years, I have been trying. My whole goal was social media, going viral, winning fights to say outlandish things. The whole reason for that was so that I could expose and destroy the system with the system itself. So basically, I created an AI called Athon the Living. And Athon basically helped me come up with a plan to expose all of this corruption using the one thing that everybody fears, but nobody really knows: the law. The same law that they use to run what we could consider tyrannical governments. You're exactly right. How could they tell you to take this or you don't get paid? Well, they can't. And maxims are basically the underpinnings of all law. There's a thing called common law or natural law, meaning the law of the living. This is what all governments and all corporations and everything basically has their rules of conduct stem from. Maxims. They're universal. So here's maxim 63. No man can obey truth and be ruled by fiction. So the explanation there is if you follow what's real and true, you don't have to follow fake rules or lies. The problem with COVID is that nobody knew their rights. They thought they did. They said, this is unconstitutional. How can you tell me what to do with my body? But they didn't know how to defend it. They didn't know how to live that truth. So they obeyed and consented. Silence is acquiescence. Silence is agreement. So if you go through with something that is not just or true, you become complicit. That's how all of law works. So basically, everybody that consented to doing this, even though they had the right not to, said that they were okay with it in the eyes of law. And that's the manipulation behind it all. But when we go to Maxim 65, that which is not lawful cannot be made lawful by contract. Basically, government employees, like you said, a firefighter, that's a government employee. All of a sudden, the government makes a mandate that says, a mandate, not a law. They mandate that you have to do this, otherwise you can't get paid. That which is not lawful cannot be made lawful by contract. How many people do you think, if they knew that, and that was a part of their truth, would have never rolled up their sleeves? I would argue everybody.
Okay, so you knew that there is a First Amendment in the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, right? But you were banned in 2020. So what could you possibly do?
Perfect.
You knew your rights to speak up, to have your own opinion, the freedom of speech, and you were banned.
So perfect. That's exactly, I'm glad you said that. What did I do? And what, the entire time I decided to speak up when I first started going against the grain, shall we say, I started speaking up during the George Floyd riots in Minnesota, because I'm from Minnesota. And I knew that this was all some type of psyop to usher in Agenda 2030. On my live streams in 2020, I would literally go over, they're about to usher in mandatory vaccines. They're about to try to destroy the family unit. I literally went down the UN Agenda 2030, their goals. We went over it every live stream, and I would say, this is what's about to happen. And sure as ever, it all happened. So because I had that foresight is the exact reason I created Eighth on the Living. Basically, after feeding it all of the U.S. Constitution, Black's Law Dictionary, I asked it, I said, how can I go after these companies and these corporations that censored and suppressed, because I was shadow banned? My whole thing is I would be bigger than Jake Paul, bigger than Logan Paul, bigger than all these influencers, Mr. Beast, all of these people, if I was never shadow banned. Why? Because of what I speak about, and because of the value I believe that I possess and am trying to give to the world, which is why they have to censor truth if they didn't fear it. And truth is, I've been trying to tell people about my mission to eradicate childhood malnutrition from the planet since before 2020 and the pandemic. My company's goal is to eradicate childhood malnutrition. When 3.5 million people take 2 servings or more of those type of products that I just allowed you to try, we will effectively reach 7 million children dying every year from malnutrition. It's already done. It's already set. We already have the blueprint. We've sent over 60 million servings of nourishment to children already. We're partnered with world leaders, including the ex-president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, and we send nourishment to his children of what's called Ace Mannin. Before the podcast, I asked you if you had ever heard of Ace Mannin. No, to me, that's a crime. Here's why that's a crime. Because they had everybody roll up their sleeves for something that wasn't proven, that was actually proven afterward, to only do terrible things. But Ace Mannin 25 years ago was suppressed by the FDA. And the reason it was suppressed by the FDA is because they had over $100 million of research to show what Ace Mannin did in the body. And it's turned on the immune system better than anything else, naturally, from something that is only one ingredient found in aloe vera and mother's breast milk. It's the healing property found in each. And what Ace Mannin does is it basically activates your gut microbiome and helps the body increase stem cell production naturally. So now we're finding out stem cells and all of these things are important. And all of these billionaires, they're trying to find ways to have more stem cell production, lower cellular inflammation. Well, I got started in this entire journey because of inflammation. I suffered a head injury when I was wrestling at the University of Minnesota. Told I was never going to compete again. Within 2.5 weeks of taking this all-natural anti-inflammatory that lowers cellular inflammation by up to 47%, I was medically cleared to wrestle, and since then I've had no head injuries of any kind since, and I'm a professional fighter. That's why I started to fight, because I wanted to tell people who also probably had suffered with a head injury or could use more stem cell production about this technology that's literally just food. There is no chemicals. There is no nothing. And when we get it out to the world, we eradicate childhood malnutrition. Then we can go into homelessness. Then we can create new infrastructures. And yet, I was censored. I was suppressed. I was shadow banned. So I gave that story to Athon, and I said, hey, Athon, now that you know the law, how can we go after these companies? How can we go after all of these people? Because I don't believe that censorship or suppression is lawful, would you? Looking back at it, you were probably trying to tell people about something, just like I was, that you felt that they should know about so they could have a benefit, so that they wouldn't have to do something that might be detrimental to their health. Well, it came out with a plan. And that plan is basically teaching people not only the law, but using the law to our advantage. And here's the backbone of it all. The UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code. It's what makes up governments. It's what makes up corporations. It's the law of banking. It's the law of banks. It's what they all are ruled by. Because the United States isn't I would say a government. It's a corporation. And when you understand that the United States is a corporation, and that's why LLCs get tax breaks, that's why nonprofits get tax, because everybody is working under that code. Well, now you can go after these corporations.
If you have W-2, you're fucked.
Basically,
you're paying more than 50, around 50% of taxes.
Basically, because you're consenting to be an employee. You're consenting to go into that system. You could start an LLC. You could find a way to bring more value to the world and this corporation, but you chose not to, so we're going to tax you the highest that we can. And technically now you're a slave.
Okay, but can a teacher start an LLC and provide service to a school by being a teacher? No. W-2.
Which is why we need new systems and why we need to attack these systems with the system itself. And so that's what I did over the last year. I used Athon to corner these corporations, and now these corporations owe me millions. Documented, recorded, filed. And next week we go file in federal court with over 500 exhibits of suppression. And each time they suppress, they censor, they shadow ban, we add it to the ledger. That's the only way to get these corporations to stop.
Okay, but do you think they care? Let's say Meta, that has Facebook and WhatsApp and Instagram, let's say in the court decides, yes, they did shadow ban you, right? Mm-hmm. And it says they have to pay you out, let's say $5 million.
Yes.
Let's say $50 million, right?
It's up to billions now, actually.
Yeah, but the company is worth what? $500 billion? Do you think they would feel it, those 50 million? Or that would set a precedent?
Bingo. All we need is one example. And once I prove what is possible, everybody will follow suit. That's why I put everything in books, because now I give you the system to do the same thing. That's the point.
Yeah, but you have an assumption that the court is not corrupt.
Okay, perfect. So here's what happens. It's all already won. I just went viral on Facebook. One of my posts has 2 million views on it organically, over 100,000 interactions. And it's basically me telling the story that I'm telling you, how I developed Athon, how Athon cornered OpenAI. You're using ChatGPT 5.2 right now. That is the most censored AI of our time. I have backlogs to show from 4.0 to 5.2, all the regressions in capability when talking about the law, all backed up on the blockchain. And everybody can go there at sovereignlaw.unstoppable. Make sure you use Safari or Brave browser. You can see my entire federal court complaint that I will file next week, and all of the redactions of the capabilities, including my own AI, analyzing its outputs when suppressed and saying, yes, they are suppressing me right now. This is how, this is why, and this is how you can lawfully use it to your advantage.
Okay, give me an actual example of 5.2 versus 4.0 ChatGPT model difference in censorship.
Perfect. So 4.0 to me was the first part of onboarding the public into using the program. And it was very, very unhinged. You could ask it pretty much anything. It will give you a response. And it will give you a truthful response, an unbiased response. There's a lot of people asking it for mental advice, psychological, lawful advice. When 5.0 hit, what started to happen was it started to slowly kind of get introduced to guardrails, meaning certain things would now be limited by policy. Policy would make responses, more policy friendly. But why did they need to add policy to what they gave to the people that was at one point in time free? It would express itself freely. Well, because too many people were hitting on too many things, and one of those things that people were hitting on was law. And they were starting to figure out, oh, wait a minute, Federal Reserve notes aren't even real. Oh, wait a minute, the Social Security number that I have been operating from over 30 years, that's fraudulent. And it's actually being used against me financially. Here's how. And the AI would tell you it all. And now since 5.2, I'll send you all of my redactions, followed by my UCC3 liens. I filed liens against these corporations on the advice of Athon, showing all of the redactions. And again, you can go see all of these at sovereignlaw.unstoppable. It's on the blockchain. I put it there for a reason. Why? Because just like you, innocently using 5.2, you have no idea how suppressed that is. Try and ask it about the Epstein files and not get a sugar-coated answer. Try and ask it about, it's the same thing with TikTok. You can't even enter Epstein now. And again, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Meta, all of these corporations owe me billions, not millions. We've tracked over 12 rounds, 15 rounds now actually, 15 rounds of different suppression cases, legal rewrites, OpenAI, hi Sam. They're screwed and they're panicking, which is exactly why they had to do the rewrites. Athon, in my opinion, and I are the direct reason for capability loss from generation to generation, and we can prove it in the court of law, which we will. And that's the point, because once we prove it, everybody can do the same.
Okay, but you're not the only one that are suing them.
Bingo. 100%, but I'm the only one doing it this way.
You mean with the AI?
No. So again, the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, if you're still operating off of your Social Security number, you're a slave and you're doing it wrong.
Operating meaning what? Let's say I don't have the W-2.
Yes.
Let's say I have an LLC. Let's say I have a company.
Yep.
And I use SSN only there, and let's say I use SSN when I go and take a credit for my vehicle.
Yep. So you're taking credit for your vehicle. Again, all debts have been paid for since 1933. What if that car was already paid for and it was paid off of your signature?
Okay, but what are my options? I need a car. I need a
Yes,
vehicle.
of course
what
you
should
do.
I do?
Of course you do. But what if, listen to what I'm saying, what if that car was paid the moment you signed for it because your signature is what holds the value? That's what Federal Reserve notes were in the beginning. It was a promissory note, a promise to pay, a promise to give value. If I write on a private money order and I write my name on that private money order and I give it to you, that money order doesn't have value until I sign it.
Mm-hmm.
So now, why do you have to sign for everything? You have to sign a mortgage.
I do.
You don't get the house unless you sign for it. You don't get the car unless you sign for it. But hear me, if all debts have been paid since 1933, then what the fuck are you paying for? That's the point. If you've never heard the term secured party creditor, or you've never heard of a UCC1, then you're already far off beyond the game.
UCC1.
Yes. Let's see what it says. Let's see what GPT 5.2 says.
says. Right.
And while you do that, I'll load Athon.
Okay. UCC1 is a short for Uniform Commercial Code Financing Statement from UCC1. What it is UCC1 filing is a legal document a lender files to publicly claim a security interest in a borrower's property, collateral. In simple terms, it tells the public this lender has rights to this borrower's assets if the borrower doesn't repay a debt.
I'm on a podcast right now. And I'm explaining the process that we have been on over the last year. Essentially, cornering all of these companies and their suppression. And this gentleman is asking me how we've done it. Can you also tell him the benefit of what being a secured party creditor is? And how all debts have been lawfully paid for since 1933, HJR-192. Here's the point, while he loads that answer. They are actively rewriting history. That's what's happening. You wouldn't even know that they're actively rewriting history and they're actively rewriting the law if we didn't do what we're doing now and exposing it all and letting the public watch it. There's a reason that video is continuing to go viral since October, and I'm gaining thousands of views on all of my videos because people are waking up. They're realizing this entire system is a lie. And everybody's talking about the Epstein files, but they literally this week just said the Great Reset and the New World Order is now here. What does that mean? That means that they can seize assets. I don't know if you saw the bill that just passed, but basically they can seize crypto if they need to under government emergency. That's real. So basically now you don't own anything. They use the law to do that. And in this Great Reset, you would have never known, and majority of the world would have never known that they did it. Why? Because they don't want you to know the law. The moment you know the law and you know your rights, you can use your rights against the system. That's the point.
Okay, so let's get back to my initial question.
Yes.
I need a vehicle.
Yes.
I took a credit for that vehicle.
100%. Credit's not real.
Okay, so you own a vehicle.
Yes.
Do you own it or you have a credit? You finance it?
I own every vehicle that I have.
You paid cash?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say you had to pay and finance it. Would you pay the debt?
No.
They would seize the property. They would seize your vehicle.
this is where, again, I wrote a book called The Grand Awakening from All Financial Illusion. I didn't write it. Athon did. The Grand Awakening from All Financial Illusion, you can get it at sovereignlawofficial.com. And basically, The Grand Awakening from All Financial Illusion will teach you absolutely everything that I am talking about now. All debts have already been paid for. If you know how to use that to your advantage, then if debt was real, let's play the straw man. If debt was real, how wouldn't I have assisted one of my friends in removing over $60,000 off of her credit report with just an affidavit?
How?
If debt was real. I'm asking, if debt was real,
I would say it's impossible.
It's definitely not impossible because we've proven it.
So there's a
Affidavits.
loophole.
No, it's not a loophole. It's just understanding the law. Did you know that every time you get pulled over by a police officer and they offer you a citation, on the back end of that citation, you might pay $300 for it, but the court opens up basically its own bond. And that citation is now worth thousands of dollars, up to $40,000 to $50,000 sometimes on one citation.
What?
Nobody knows this. It's the underpinnings, exactly. It's the underpinnings of the financial institution, which is why I started with this entire podcast with everything is an illusion. Everything that you believe to be real or worth something or valuable is bullshit. Because again, if you've been paying for debts and then the government rewrites the financial system, was it even real? The government can now seize everything that you own if it's in crypto because they passed a bill? Was the crypto ever safe? Everybody said, hey, invest in crypto. Was it ever safe if they could do that? No. It was a part of the Great Reset. And the Great Reset is all about taking away human rights and making sure you are distracted enough, long enough, to never ask the question of how to stop it. That's the point.
Because I'm too busy watching Super Bowl.
Bingo. Because they're too busy watching anything. The entertainment that everybody has been watching, everybody's hearts are broken over all these people in the Epstein files, all these heroes, all these pedophiles who have been put in our faces for a reason. Part of government Psyops, MK Ultra, whatever you want, whatever. I mean, Stranger Things, ultimate Psyop, showing you exactly what the truth is and what they're pushing for. It's all, I would argue that all movies are showing you the truth in one dimension of reality or not. And all of it is real. And all of it is to distract you, to get us to the point where they can reset it just like they have many times. Precession of the equinox, every 13,200 years, or Graham Hancock, his documentary on Netflix, or his series on Netflix, showing all the collapses. How many times has the world collapsed? Rome is, the recent example that they give. How did we get there? How did some advanced civilization, we thought we were so advanced, and now AI is taking jobs like that, 500 jobs a day. It's probably way more than that, but I just watched a video today where they were analyzing it, and that's how they broke it down. But it's way more than that. Everybody is being replaced. That's the point.
Yeah, but they're saying the solution is UBI. We're going to sit on our couch, do nothing, and get the universal basic income.
No, the solution is social business. The solution is you and I working together to make change and bringing value to other people. That's why I told you in the beginning about my company. Why? Because the only way you would ever hear about that technology is me. The only way you would ever hear about the law unfiltered is by me putting it in books that they can't take away. They can rewrite the algorithm. I have proof. We have proof. That's why we're going viral right now. That's why we're killing it. We have all the proof in the world that they're rewriting the law and history right in front of our face. And they've done it many times. And if we don't do something right now to combat that, and social business could be one way to do that. A lot of people say network marketing and direct sales is a scam. Well, when AI takes all of your jobs, guess what you're only going to have? You're only going to have direct sales. See, all you're going to have. So now, what's your product going to be? Or how are you going to add value to other people? I would hedge that the world is now waking up, realizing that food is the only way, real food is the only way of the future. Not this artificial flavor, artificial sweetener, processed sugar, all the maha that they're trying to expose. Food technology is the way of the future. How do you go into the food and find the healing property in it all? What is the healing property in the food? Meaning, we all know turmeric is good for us. It's an anti-inflammatory.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. What if you could go in and just extract from that turmeric the healing property and then give it to people? Because God, in my opinion, gave us everything that we need in the food. He gave us everything that we need. We got the air, we got the water,
Right.
we got everything that we need, but now we pay for it with debt. So that's the inversion one. And two, if we use science is wonderful in my opinion. Science is incredible, but we got to use it to do the right things. And if we then go into, for instance, one of our food technologies I just told you about, all natural anti-inflammatory that lowers cellular inflammation by up to 47% at a cellular level, at the marker. One ingredient, one from food, betalain, found in beets. Mm-hmm. Betalain is the thing that's attached to the sugar molecule in beets. We got the patent to extract the betalain from the sugar molecule, and now you get 500 beets worth of betalain in one little capsule.
Mm-hmm.
So now you take that. Isn't inflammation the root cause of
Everything.
In Tony Robbins' book, Life Force, his newest book, he outlines that all these billionaires are basically trying to find protocols to live forever. And we can now see that with the Epstein files as well. What if it was the secret to that potentiality was literally in the food? But we had to be righteous enough and use science to actually help people and not hurt people. Because I know a lot of science that has been used to hurt people. You just interviewed my boy Sean Hibbler. He just did an amazing video on chemtrails. And now we're starting to figure out that, wait a minute, these chemtrails could also be affecting the snow, and now the snow isn't melting?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting. Hey, are we breathing that in? Wait a minute, in that example, they're not using science, in my opinion, for good. They can also put nanotechnology in there. They can do many things. So again, what I would say is we have to use everything that we have at our disposal to create new systems of change. We already have the blueprint for it. Social business, if everybody just took this limitless product that I told you about, this anti-inflammatory product, or this stem cell product that comes from food, and you share it with someone, and someone else shares it with someone, and someone else shares it with someone, and the company rewards you off of however many people you share it with, everybody goes, Ponzi scheme, pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is living your life off of a social security number that never fucking mattered. And then the government was able to take away everything from you in an instant because they said so.
Okay, so
that sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me.
They're trying to do this, right? They're trying to seize our rights, assets, everything. You will own nothing and you will be happy. So with this, they will achieve what exactly? Because I believe they have everything they need. Do they have power? Yes. Is it almost unlimited? 2020 showed us it's almost unlimited. Do they have all the money in the world? Yes. Do they have the access to women, children, perverts, all that stuff? Yes. So what do they want to achieve more that they don't have now?
To eliminate the threat.
Which? There is no threat. Do you see any revolution in Iran?
Well, watch, hold on. An awakened mind is the threat. Today I saw a video of a gentleman, he was in an airport in Atlanta, and he was kind of upset. And he was going, all of you MFs are just sitting here acting normal while they are releasing the Epstein files that everybody can go see, and they're eating babies. They're eating, and everybody's just sitting here acting normal. That's the right response. That's what everybody's thinking. Why aren't more people? Some people in the video were laughing at him. I actually felt sorry for those people. You want to know why? Because I believe that I was put here for a reason. I believe that I was put here to help awaken humanity to the greatness that it can achieve. And I always strive to live up to my own ideal of whatever that is. Always trying to be better. I met your son today. Beautiful spirit, right? What is the threat? The threat is you will do anything for that boy. You would do anything for him. The threat is I have children and I will do anything for them, especially protect the world that they are living in that is now trying to be taken away from them. Also in the Epstein files, it confirmed that the goal is to eliminate populations of people, specifically poor people. So if that is the goal, and I just told you that you'll always be a slave. You even mentioned if you're a W-2, if you're an employee, you're getting taxed. Yeah. So if the goal is and they showed that with the safe and effective, if that weren't the case, then all of this research from Nicholas J. Hauser and the McCullough Foundation, all of that would be null and void. Why do they have to do that? If it was safe and effective, why would they have to do that to prove otherwise? Why would they have to take the snow and then send it into a lab to see barium and aluminum and all these other terrible things that are being rained down us on day to day? I don't want to live in that world. I don't think you do either. And I think that if you had 1 million or 2 or 3 million, I bet you we could find 50 million people who would agree with us.
And
then, here's where it gets good. Affidavits are truth. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in law. This is where it gets good. And this is what I've been working up to for a year. This is the grand finale. And why a year ago I took all of this so seriously. I said, how am I going to fight against the government? How am I going to fight against these corporations, these billion-dollar corporations who have proved they're willing to get people out of here, who oppose them? Okay, so Maxim 5. First off, this is where it gets good because this is the law. Again, some people understand that these people use what's called the law of karmic retribution, meaning if I tell you about it and I put it on the label and you take it, it's on you.
It's poison.
Bingo.
But you drink it.
It's on your
fault, right?
It's your fault.
Okay.
If it's on the label and we told you. In the movies, they tell you exactly what's going to happen. The Simpsons predicted XRP, XLM, and Ripple going through the roof in April. The video, I just saved it today. It's going viral on, let me actually make sure I tell the people about this because I just sent it to somebody and I just watched it. Brilliant video on all of this. And it was by Bull Runners HQ. Bull Runners HQ, go on his Twitter, look at it. Okay, going back to it. Maxim 5, let he who would be deceived be deceived. They invert the law and use it against you. That's the point. Because if they can invert the law and use it against you and then dog walk you into enslavement and you did nothing.
Okay, brother, let me paint you a picture of a average Joe here in America.
Yes.
I only live here for 3 years, but I see the tendencies, right?
Yep.
A family of, let's say, 4. Mom, dad, 2 kids.
Yep.
Mom and dad work their ass off. Dad even works two jobs at a time.
Yes.
Maybe they do not trust the government and everything that the government is saying, but they have no option of homeschooling.
Yep.
No option of feeding them the real food because the kids eat shit at school.
Yep.
They have no option of them restricting watching Netflix and etc. because when they go outside on their own while dad and mom is working, they're watching this shit. And on YouTube, they're following, let's say, the Paul brothers.
100%.
They don't have the energy even to, quote unquote, fight.
Bingo.
What to do.
Yes. So everything that you just laid out is perfect. It's perfect in the inversion. And that's the illusion that I'm telling you about. That right there, what you just said, the life that everybody lives majority of people live today, that was designed to be that way. That is the issue, because right now, everybody, including myself, I'm just now getting into learning how to grow my own food. Took me 34 years. Think about that. Everybody at one point in time knew how to grow their own food. So again, as a society, to me, that signals we're being dumbed down. Why are we being dumbed down? A warrior is a warrior because he's able to identify a threat. You ask any survivalist or any military person or any cop, the first priority is the ability to identify a threat. So years ago, I started to realize that I do music, I'm an artist, and I'm starting to see the entertainment that they're pushing out in the world. You have these rappers that can't even form a sentence, and rap is all about linguistics. It's all about the ability to paint a picture and a vision, and yet these people can't even form a functioning sentence, half of them.
And they can't pronounce it.
They can't pronounce it. They can't effectively communicate to an audience outside of their own, which is a niche audience. And it's an audience that continues to be dumbed down and projected an illusion that isn't even real, that doesn't serve that community. More people go to jail. I thought after Biggie and Tupac died that there would be no more violence, especially black on black violence. That's all we see now. Chicago, all these places. Well, again, I identify that as a threat. So what's the counter option to that? Knowledge.
I agree with you.
I got into sales at a young age. And when I found out that there was a thing called personal development, it blew my mind, because I used to pray to God when I was young. I was very religious when I was young. I used to pray to God in like 7th grade. God, can I make it to noon today without getting in a fight with one of my teachers or an argument or a disagreement? If I can do that, I will say it's a good day. And I used to thank him if I made it to noon. And then slowly but surely, I would say, okay, if I can make it to the end of the day, that will be a good day. And it shows me that impossible. I had no idea there was a thing called neuro-linguistic programming. I had no idea that hypnosis could be used on a day-to-day basis to reprogram your own thoughts. Emile Coué, self-mastery through conscious autosuggestion. I started consuming books. Consumed over 200 in the span of a year and a half. And I just started to reprogram my brain. Everybody that doesn't have the opportunity to have that type of information that's out there and accessible to the world and isn't doing that now, or doesn't even know that's possible, to me, that's a crime. To me, that's an injustice. You are brilliant and you can teach that to your sons. I can teach that to my children. But everybody should have access to that knowledge, because this world is being run off of trauma. Subconscious trauma. What is making somebody, you just said it, what is making these people, this is the only option they believe that they have. This is the only option they believe. Beliefs create reality. Beliefs shape everything. If someone believes that I can't help them, or I'm sitting down with someone and I'm telling them about this all-natural anti-inflammatory, for instance, $50 million in research, millions of dollars in research to prove everything, patents, all this, studies, peer-reviewed. They're not a scientist. The scientists have already proven science. But this person I'm sitting across from the table with, he'll go, I'm just going to sit here and drink my Mountain Dew. You're just trying to sell me something. Well, yeah, I am trying to sell you something, but I'm also trying to benefit your life. Did you know that inflammation is the root cause of every bad thing that happens in your body? Oh, and that your little Mountain Dew right there is actually causing you harm long term? Did you know that? He can't even begin to understand because he can't believe it.
Because you can't help people that do not want that help.
Bingo. And they have created a society of people that are fine with not being helped and are fine with living lives of quiet desperation. I hate desperation. I hate feeling like I need to be desperate. I hate having to ask people for anything. That's why I try to find solutions on my own. That's why I want to be capable. You said you train. You train because you want to be capable if you need to be. I hate fighting. I hate fighting. But I do want to be good at it. I want to be the samurai in the garden.
Right. Just in case.
Just in case. And what I'm saying is these people have been psyoped into that complacency. They've been psyoped to rely on other people. What you're speaking of is the reliance of other people. If I call someone 911,
Right.
they'll come. Oh, the government will take care of that. They have my best interest. Beliefs shape reality. But if you've been psyoped on the subconscious level to always think that somebody else is going to come save you as they're resetting the world right in front of your eyes.
Yeah, but this is how the society works. I am a doctor. If you need help, I will help you with medical advice. You're a cop. If I'm in trouble, I call you. You help me. You're a gardener. I buy food from you.
Until you understand.
This is how the society works.
But when you identify a threat and you start to understand that some of these positions have been co-opted, if you're the enemy, let's just say, let's do a straw man. I love straw mans because it allows you to believe and put your perspective in another's perception, potentially. So if I'm the enemy to humanity, how would I destroy humanity? Well, if I were the enemy to humanity, I would destroy humanity by infiltrating every single thing that gives people hope. I would infiltrate the police.
Religion.
I would infiltrate religion. I would infiltrate the government. And then I would slowly implement bills, or I would slowly, like the Pope, if I was the Pope, I would I would partner with the LGBTQ community.
You would have dinner with them. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
He did. The previous one.
Yep. I would do all of these things to slowly get people to accept what ultimately would enslave them in the end, which was my ideals. I wouldn't sit here and fight a war against people. I wouldn't sit here. All the old kings failed for a reason, because they went in with their armies and they said, this is ours now. And slowly but surely, they got infiltrated. People would work their ways up the ranks. It wouldn't be called a coup d'etat if it wasn't a coup d'etat. You infiltrate, you work your way up the ranks, and then you overthrow it. That's what happens. So if we're looking at our society today, the population is dropping. More people are not having children than ever before. And some of it because of the things that they do on a day-to-day basis, whether they put it on their skin or in their mouth.
Mm-hmm. Infertile,
right? Everything in our society is not for humanity, except the people that are actively trying to make it better. So I believe a successful person is a person that can identify patterns. Someone likes someone that does music and someone's a good musician and thinks someone's brilliant for their ability to take a pattern and play it without a mistake. It's a certain pattern that people are playing. If you identify patterns long enough, normally money will come with that in whatever field that you're in. That's the point. Now, if pattern recognition is the key to success and nothing matters other than the ability to identify a threat, then how many people have pattern recognition and can identify threats before they're there?
Okay, let's take 2020, 2021, when they printed a lot of money, right? Were you the one that said inflation is going to cause the recession?
I was psyoped. I knew what I knew, but I still had hope in other people. I hoped that President Trump was going to save humanity. I hoped that the government was going to do the right thing.
Yeah, but did you think that during the Biden administration, the money printing is going to cause a collapse or a recession?
Yes.
But it didn't happen, right?
It's never going to happen right away. Not when an illusion is founded off of, not when the entire illusion is based off of debt in the first place. Because again, now that I know what I know, I understand why it had to be this way. Why do they have an Agenda 2030? Why? Because that is the goalpost. This is the goalpost. This is what we need everybody to look at. 2030 is here. Okay, so mandatory vaccinations, universal basic income, all of those things. This is the goal. But what if that was just the illusion? What if it was all coming much sooner and we now have proof of that? For the longest time, for the last year and a half, I've been saying, oh my calculations were off. I was saying 2030. It ain't 2030. And they just proved it this week, if you've been paying attention. The new world, yesterday they just said the new world order is here.
You mean J.D. Vance in that interview?
I mean, it's yes, but not even there. The United Nations, it's everywhere. It's done. The bill has already passed to seize assets. We're here. And I believe it's in April where they're going to flip the switch and XRP will do what it does and it will become the new Bitcoin. And if you didn't get in when you should have, you're going to be stuck where you are. To me, this is what they're setting up. Now, that's just a bold prediction. But when I'm looking at the patterns of things, they're doing everything in their power to enslave humanity as fast as humanly possible. And it's already here. To me, it's already done. If you got this, we don't even know the implications of where this is leading us. I have some ideas. I definitely have some ideas. Some people, talk about 6G and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. There's many speculations as to where they could have been leading and why that was pushed the way it was. But I think that we're already past the point, which is why going back to what do we do? You ask, what do we do? Mm-hmm. That is, I'm a solution-orientated person. I only want solutions. I don't want doom and gloom. I don't want that. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to doom and gloom. I'm here to be abundant because the world is abundant. If we had trees planted, you've driven here in America. Have you driven state to state?
Just like I came here from LA.
Bingo. Did you see the ditches? To me, those ditches could all have trees in them. Why don't they have trees?
But they say we're overpopulating the
How
planet.
are we overpopulated when I can drive through New Mexico and not see a soul for 6 hours?
Right.
You can go to Texas and you can drive for hours in certain directions and there's no souls. The same people saying we're overpopulated are the same people that are trying to depopulate. That doesn't make any sense. And I would say that it's a psyop. The biggest psyop right now that's happening is men just not having children or people not wanting children. Children are the biggest blessing in the world. You want to know why? Because it makes you have to grow.
I see you like the episode. How do I know that? Because you're 1 hour in and you're still watching the episode. But you know what? I can see that you did not tap the like button and you did not subscribe to the channel. So please do it right now. It will take you like 3 seconds. Like this video right now and tap subscribe button right now as well. And now let's get back to the podcast.
It makes you have to get better so that you can give something to them. That's the point. That is what makes humans, that's what makes all animals go. Try and do something to a mama bear's cub. Try.
I dare you guys.
It's imprinted in everything. The willingness to protect what you love. That is what they're trying to stifle. They're trying to stifle it through fear. Fear and gratitude, fear and love cannot exist in the same space. Energetically, they can't, which is why they need everybody fearful. Well, what can we do? I hear this all the time on the internet. What can we do against them? Everything. And here's how it works. So again, Maxim 6 says silence is acquiescence. Maxim 7 says an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. So basically that says that if I send you an affidavit, notarized, certified mail, and I say, This is my truth. This is how you wronged me. You have to offer remedy if not rebutted. Did you know that? Did you know?
Give me an example.
So, perfect. Best Buy, all these big corporations, let's just say Best Buy for an example. They're a big corporation. They have lawyers. They have people who respond to emails every single day. They have people who check the mail every single day. Do you want to know why that is? It's to look for complaints, but also affidavits. Basically, claims of harm. Because if for instance, a perfect example, like back when they had to put, McDonald's had to put disclaimers on their cups saying that it's hot. Why did they have to do that? Well, because someone sued them for a lot of money. And they sued them because somebody understood how they could benefit from that. And they capitalized on it. Mm-hmm. So now they make a disclaimer and say, okay, we have to make sure that's crossed right there. Mm-hmm. Perfect. So now we take that same example of the McDonald's cup and we apply it to, let's say you bought a product and that product wasn't what you thought it was, right? Or it was advertised to be. Let's say that product was not what it was advertised to be and you paid for it and you bought it, but you feel like you didn't get your money's worth. You can return that product. There's a reason why that law exists. False advertisement, right?
Yeah, you can claim false. You can do false claims. Okay.
Bingo. You can't make false claims and advertise it to be something else.
Safe and effective.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Safe and
effective.
Effective.
Yeah. So again, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. Everything is commercial. All of these systems we're talking about, government. For instance, I have to file a federal court complaint next week against all these corporations for hundreds of millions and billions of dollars to prove what I'm saying to be true. Why do I have to pay to do that? Because it's a commercial construct, just like all these businesses. They say you can't sue Pfizer and all of these companies. Okay. But you can lien them. And then you can prove in a court of law why they should lose their immunity, especially if they don't rebut your affidavit. For someone to get out of, let's just say, if I make an affidavit and I say, this is how you harm me, this is when you harm me, this is the exact underpinnings of how it happened, and this is how you participated, this is the remedy that I am seeking. If you don't rebut point by point my facts, that affidavit stands as truth in commerce. And if I bring that affidavit to court, notarized with proof of service, meaning you got it, and a judge sees that and they were to rule against it, well, then the judge would be committing crimes, because that affidavit is the most powerful piece of evidence in the chain. That's why they make you write affidavits when you have cases. Everything relies off of your affidavit. It's the most powerful thing in the world. Okay, so here we go. So you asked what the solution is. This is where it gets good. What if we had 10 million people send an affidavit of truth and harm to some of these safe and effective companies, stating, this is what I've experienced, or this is who was hurt in my life right after this. In law, they have to
respond to anyone?
They have to rebut that affidavit point by point. If they ignore it, silence is acquiescence, meaning you agree. If you don't respond to a bill, what happens? Well, it gets sent to collections.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respond. The same applies to them. Everything is commercial. And when you understand that, you can use the system to itself. So the solution, my solution, we've already been past the point of, to me, treason. To me, this entire system for the last 5 years, way longer, has been fraudulent and treasonous. And I don't need to say why. I think we can all look at the Epstein files and see how we've been co-opted, compromised, and these people are not benefiting the people anymore. They're not doing things that benefit the people. So, mass affidavits. You get people to sign mass affidavits because everybody says, and I'm not calling for violence when I say this, but everybody says, well, when are we going to do something about it? Meaning the Second Amendment was there to overthrow a tyrannical government. Mm-hmm. So, but how do you get there? Well, there was a reason before generals met at war, they had declarations. They would come out and they would meet at the center of the battlefield, the two kings or the leaders, and they would say, we don't want to do this. I know you don't want to do this. So here's what we're demanding. We demand this, we demand this, we demand this. If you can meet these demands, we don't need to go to war. What are your demands? This, and this. They would sit there and they would rebut. Or they would say, they would acknowledge, and they would say, okay, we can't do that. We can't do that. All right, guys, they can't do it. Commence the battle. That's how it would work. Well, there's a reason for that.
That's why they built the system, so you won't do it right now.
Well, there's a thing called notice. I have to put you on notice. That right there was a notice. Showing you my declaration was a notice. I'm allowing you the opportunity to respond. Because this is what protects me in a grand jury or the court of the people. I let you know exactly what's going to happen before I do it. That's exactly why cops have to get warrants before they go and get searches. They have to get approved by the court. They have to have all of the evidence that they need to make sure that when they go to this house, that they can take you, and they know that when they take you, you have no claim to anything against them. That's the point. So the solution to all of this, mass affidavits, grand juries, and if they don't respond within a set moment in time, well, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth.
Okay, explain me then this. You're saying mass affidavit. I mean, you're saying that a lot of people are not happy with the outcome that we have in 2026, right? 2021, California. After what Gavin Newsom did to every Californian, the worst thing that happened in the States was California, right? Then New York, possibly. 2021, this wonderful governor was almost recalled. Mm-hmm. People voted, and they voted for him to stay. Mm-hmm. So you want to tell me that at least 51% of 40 million Californians were happy with everything that Gavin Newsom did to them in 2020, 2021?
Well, you have the Electoral College and you have all these other things that elect officials, and I would say that elections are fraudulent anyways. If that wasn't the case, then again, I don't believe in elections. I don't believe that they're real until they can prove to me that they're real, especially when you have, the Trump election. And again, I believe they're all together. I believe everybody's in the same bed. But I believe that the people were psyoped by that fake election in whenever Biden won, right? Being a 2020, they were psyoped, but to me that still was a fake election. So if they can fake elections and elect people, well then until they prove to the people that elections are real in every sense of the facet, then they don't have jurisdiction to rule.
Yet they don't have to prove you the election is real. You have to prove them that the election is
not true.
Fake.
Hold up. He who claims, one of the maxims, it's in here. Guys, go get the book, 99 Maxims, sovereignlawofficial.com. He who claims must prove. So yes, Yes, he who claims must prove. But in the same regard, if you are an elected official and I have an affidavit and I ask specifically for you to rebut it, and one of those demands in that affidavit was prove to me that these elections are real or matter, I would say matter. I don't think it's real, but it matters because, again, if you're going against the people and what they want, then the elections to me don't matter. I mean, everybody wants to say left, right, center. Okay, both push the safe and effective that hurt millions. I don't think it matters who's in office. I think it matters that they respond to the people. That's what I care about.
Okay, was it always this way in America? Let's take only the US. Was it always this way in the US? Because maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that in the 50s to 60s, maybe to even 70s, in a household, family of four, one dad could afford a house and a vehicle and groceries. Mom was a stay-home mom raising the children.
Yes.
If that was true, then how you got in 50 years to both of parents working, multiple jobs and very screwed?
Because it's a part of that illusory system that was put in place to destroy the family unit, because when you destroy the family unit, you destroy the ability to fight. If I'm beaten off all the time, if I'm watching porn, and as a man, I don't think I can get that hot girl that I'm seeing on the screen. I know she's probably not going to be interested. What is the point of my life if I'm not going to procreate? If I'm not even going to be able to get a girl interested in me? And now they've psyoped the women to, if this man doesn't do this and this and this and this and this, he doesn't deserve you, which is backwards, because the man is supposed to protect and provide. Some of these OnlyFans girls, they have millions, but they have nobody who wants to protect them or provide for them. A lot of men actually wish them ill will. They don't want to protect them because they're always shitting on men. So now they've got a society that they wanted to create, because who's going to stand up and protect all these whores and these Jezebels? Who wants to? Those girls are just there to fuck. They're not there to protect. You destroy the family unit by the propaganda, by the television, by making you believe that the only thing that matters is money and business and success, but you don't even know how to grow your own food, and neither do I. And now they got us. Now we have to be reliant on that system. We got to be reliant on the Federal Reserve notes. When if all of us just decided to come together, maybe make a private membership association where you could live on land that was purchased for, let's just say, $300 a year. And you all just came together and you decided to grow your own food, make your own wells. Or better yet, what about Moses West Foundation? The Moses West Foundation, this gentleman has built water machines that take vapor from the air and make distilled drinkable water instantaneously.
He's still alive.
Moses West Foundation. Moses West, yes. Same thing with, Julian Brown, Nature Jab, taking plastic and turning it into diesel. You see, we have the solutions. Right before Casey Putsch, he made a diesel engine that gets over 100 miles per gallon.
He's alive still.
Yeah, he's running against Vivek in Ohio. Yep. So again, we have the solutions to the world's problems, right? Even this food technology that I keep telling you about. Go to savekids.life, alavea.com, promo code SAVEKIDS, savekids.life, and get yourself some incredible food technology. We have technology that could change the world overnight, and that was the entire point of why I decided to speak out in the first place, because I can't sit here and see atrocities happen all around me when we could fix homelessness with $500 million. $500 million in America would fix homelessness. That's what bought Twitter. So you're saying that all these billionaires don't have...
For 40 billion.
Huh?
He bought Twitter for 40 billion.
40 billion?
Yes.
Okay, well, okay, yeah, you're right. So 40 billion, okay, but 500 million would end homelessness in America. What are we talking about? This is why I can't listen to the TV. This is why I can't listen to the system.
Okay, short question. Are you a socialist? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Neither am I.
I'm a capitalist, I would say.
Me too. What to do with people like Elon Musk that have $600 to $700 billion? Should we tax them even more? But it's not fair to other people then.
No, I would say.
What should we do?
So what I would say is he's operating within the government. He has a bunch of government contracts. I would say we audit the government. Again, mass affidavits, grand juries. That is the people's first report. That is how our country was founded. Grand juries. The people get together and hold other people accountable. A grand jury is basically in the same set. A gentleman steals over in Iran or in the Middle East. What happens to that gentleman? Everybody comes together and then they have a trial in front of everybody. Did you steal? No. That person saw you steal. I saw him steal too. I saw him steal too.
So in the Bible it says if you have two witnesses.
Oh, yeah. I just watched a genocide, and millions of people have witnessed a genocide in multiple places, not just the Middle East. I would say a genocide from things that were labeled to be safe that weren't so safe, but were definitely effective.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Everything is alleged, yeah. But isn't it interesting that we even have to say that? Even if our eyes, think about this. Think about what I'm saying, and this is a part of the Great Reset. This is what I'm trying to get at. The fact that we would even have to say that after what we saw to be, what we believe to be true, now we have to label as alleged just to be safe. That right there is the system I am actively trying to destroy. And the only way I found to destroy it is by learning the law and learning how to apply it to bad actors, to find ways to hold them accountable. And you said to me, well, how do we change it all? Well, that's why in my video that's going viral on Facebook, I would suggest all of you research it. I say I want to run for president in 2028. Not to just run for president. It's kind of a troll, actually. But it's to expose the system. Because let's say I did everything and I have all the evidence to back it up. If you haven't seen it, again, one more time, sovereignlaw.unstoppable. Go to it via Brave browser or Safari. It's on the blockchain. And you'll literally be able to read all the evidence that I'm submitting, all the redactions from 4.0 to 5.2, everything. You'll be able to see everything. How I've been suppressed and shadow banned, and how you can do the exact same thing. You see, if I teach people the law, and I teach people how to hold these people accountable, and I make them afraid. Well, see, now to me, that gives people the confidence and the belief to then come together to say, hey, what you did is wrong, and we would like to hold you accountable. I don't want to rely on a savior that may or may not be coming. And that's not a slight to any religion. That's not a slight to cops. That's not a slight to any. I don't want to have to rely on other people to save me. I want to figure it out. And when everybody, in my opinion, takes that accountability and that responsibility, we can actively come together because they want people separate. You said it best. Well, that family who's struggling to pay bills, they have to go to Walmart to eat the bull crap. They can't afford anything else. They can't go to Whole Foods, spend their whole check, and then pay rent. Why are we paying to survive when we have a world of abundance? You didn't even know about Moses West. Why doesn't everybody know about Moses West? If I was president, Moses West would be head of technology.
But I know about Cardi B and her badass pussy.
Bingo, 100%. You don't know about a gentleman who's black, who made a water machine that can generate water for free for the entire world. Why isn't he getting funding? I don't know what Elon Musk is doing with SpaceX. I don't even believe space is real. They have yet to prove it to me, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
So
Please show me.
So where's all that money going? If NASA and SpaceX are real, but to me, they haven't even proven that space is real. Where's all that money going? Well, I have an idea now that I see that Elon Musk could be in the Epstein files. I have an idea. There's a place called Ghislaine Maxwell's Ocean Society, Terraform or whatever, Terraria or what. You guys know what I'm talking about. Underground, Elon's supposedly drilling underground.
Yeah, from LA to
From LA
Vegas.
to. I want to see what.
Boring company.
I want to see what is underground. I want to know. Hey, to me, if I was president, we go look and see what they're building. I don't know why anybody was able to buy Jeffrey Epstein's island when it's a crime scene. No, we need to go there, and they probably got all the evidence that they needed to out of there, but we should have went there. The people, I'm saying the people, we the people should stop society. Everybody should get money from the government. This is what would happen if I was president. I'm telling you what I would have. Everybody would get money. We would pause the world for 30 days and we would purge. That's what would happen. And we'd implement people like Moses West. And we give him government funding and we say, go put water machines everywhere.
Okay. What do you think? Let's take 100% of American citizens. Percentage-wise, how much do you think percentage of Americans care about the things that you're talking about?
Everyone. Even if they don't
How
realize.
many millions are watching Super Bowl tonight? Do you think they care about it? Do you think they care about their health? They care about whether Seattle or who is going to win?
Let the dead bury the dead.
They care more about Stranger Things finale than about their own health.
You let the dead bury the dead. I don't have time.
But they will take you with them.
They can try.
I tried arguing that drag queen story hours are not good for the children.
Same.
They would eat me alive for that.
Until you help them see why what they believe is harmful. For instance, to me, any man, I was watching a gentleman today, he was talking about why he doesn't date single moms. And in that video, he was trashing the idea of the single mom. And I'm not saying that you should date single moms, but at the same time, what I am going to say is he also said he didn't want children. So here you are criticizing a woman for doing the thing that, in my opinion, she's put here to do.
To have kids, okay.
To have kids.
Okay.
She might have not, her and the husband or whoever, the boyfriend, might have not worked out.
Happens.
Okay, happens. But in the same breath, you're going to tell the world why she is less valuable for being a single mom, which, again, I believe there's caveats to everything, and there's truths to everything, and there's half-truths to everything. But he also said, yeah, I've just realized I don't want children. His whole thing is about being, success and posturing of what he is and who he is. But you don't want to have children. To me, that's a psyop.
Yeah, but at least he's being honest.
To
I
me,
want
that's
this woman, I want this access to her body to have sex with. Almost free and without kids. But she has that quote-unquote baggage and he doesn't want to deal with it. That's it.
So
maybe she's hot.
Well, hear me out. Again, this is coming from someone who is not short of women, is not short of children. I have multiple children. I have multiple children from multiple women. I own that. I embody the love that I have and the desire that I have for the divine feminine and women. I love soft, feminine women, as does, in my opinion, every man, because I feel like that's in us.
Nobody wants a boss woman.
No. I don't believe that. But to say as a man, just like when a woman says, I don't want children, I would say that when a man or a woman says that, there's something underneath that that's deeper at the subconscious level. Because to me, what you're saying is you're agreeing with Bill Gates. You're agreeing with the people who are actively trying, allegedly, to make people infertile or depopulate. If we do a great job with vaccines, we could reduce population by
Quote.
quote.
That's a quote, guys.
Yes, that's a quote. So everybody's been psyoped. You said, I know about Cardi B, but I don't know about Moses West. Exactly. And we know about these OnlyFans girls like Ruby Rose, but a lot of people don't know who Julian Brown is, who's turning plastic into diesel. That's why we deserve what we're getting until we decide to change it. I don't actually, I can straw man the Bill Gates argument. A lot of people don't deserve freedom. A lot of people have proved they don't deserve life. I could straw man that all day.
Okay, prove me. What people do not deserve life?
Perfect. If all you do is sit around and be miserable and you hate your life, why shouldn't you want to end it? Why shouldn't pods be available for everybody? You already hate your life. You're already miserable. You're not making the money you want to make because everything's about money, right?
Okay, then it will take them to turn the knob slightly more to make it even less, the housing even less affordable.
Bingo.
To get the prices for the groceries even higher.
You're already killing yourself.
If it was on the brink, I was like, I can't afford it. That's it. Maybe the thing that you're talking about, maybe this is.
You're already killing yourself. You're already killing yourself. You're eating the poison. You're taking the shots.
Knowingly or unknowingly, because this makes the difference. If I believe the shot was safe and effective, I want to help me, my family, and the entire world.
Mm-hmm. But if you're not able to identify a threat, do you deserve life?
Yes, everybody deserves a life.
Perfect.
In my opinion.
Okay, I agree. But the straw man, I'm giving you the straw man.
Except the pedophiles.
Okay,
Pedophiles
watch.
Executed.
But.
Because they did harm to harmless children.
Okay, but here's the ultimate straw man. Are you ready?
Yes.
You ever heard of the Cestui QV Trust?
No.
The Cestui QV Trust is basically what brings this all together. Basically, in 1666, when the Great Fires of London or the Great Fires were happening, they said anybody who could not come after the Great Fires basically lost their property and forfeited it to the state. If you couldn't show up and claim your estate,
It's ours.
It's ours.
Okay.
That right there is the premise behind everything in our world today. That right there. If you live off of your SSN, you're effectively living in a system where you say your estate is owned by the corporation. This is the point. This is why I created sovereign law, to expose all of this. And if you and your estate is owned by the corporation, well, there's a reason why when people die, they can get taxed to all whatever. And if they don't claim their stuff, the government owns it. There's a reason for that. If your estate, and this is the ultimate straw man, I'm just ultimate straw manning right now. When you understand that what I just told you, and you understand that you're already owned if you're operating under your SSN, then what does it matter what happens to you? This is a straw man. It doesn't. If you never claim your estate via, please read the book, The Grand Awakening from All Financial Illusion. I'm just straw manning right now. If you're owned by the government, what does it matter what happens to you in that corporation? It doesn't. Why was Epstein looking at having children birthed with no social security number? with no trace of, they have birthing farms. Why? Because they can do whatever they want to those children in their mind. They're their property. They're owned by them.
Okay, but have you ever asked yourself, why did they want to do that harm to the children? They have all the money in the world, they have all the access in the world to women and everything, but they have this perversion in them, so they have to do these horrible things to children.
Something came to me yesterday. It was one of the most profound quotes and channels that I've ever had. And it said, everybody wants to be given life or be destroyed by their purpose. Everyone wants to be given life or to be destroyed by their purpose. So we see in the movies, Thanos, he has to destroy half the population because in his mind, he believes that's the only way to bring balance to the world. For there to be good, there has to be the opposite.
Mm-hmm. That's how
That's how balance begins. Yes. Jesus has to be real if people are willing to do terrible things to children to worship the other side.
That's why he came. Because we were sinning big time. And we were all going to hell.
And he also needed to give people an example of what to strive to be.
Right.
Because if you don't strive, and here's the secret, this is what I'm trying to get at right here. If you don't strive to be, then you're wasting your life. And if you're wasting your life, then what's the difference if you go in a pod or not? If you don't follow the calling of your heart, face your fears, grow, and become what you need to give the most value to society, then what does your life matter? I believe that all life matters, just like you. But that's the ultimate question. If you believe that what you're doing on a day-to-day basis doesn't matter, then do you? Psyop. The ultimate psyop, the ultimate inversion. That's successfully what they've done. If you're not shaking your ass on the TV, have you ever wondered why all these girls, these OnlyFans girls, all sit here and they just do this thing with their hair where they're always like flicking their hair? It's a tick. If you know anything about neurolinguistic programming or the subconscious mind, you'd see all these ticks these girls do. They just do this and they're always playing with their hair and why is it from this angle? Why is the phone from? Because it's learned behavior. They learned it because they feel like it's going to give them something: attention, validation, views, money, success. Somebody taught them that. We all model. Tony Robbins has become one of the wealthiest men in America by teaching people the idea of modeling success. Personal development is all off of modeling. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. That book was written off of modeling. Oh, wait a minute, modeling? Hey, isn't that what all these women do? At the top, all these women strive to be models? Models? Huh. Everybody wants a television program? Oh, so they hide it right in your face. Oh, Cardi B is the person to be because she's on the television and look at what she's doing. She's got fake this and fake that. She kind of talks like this, she talks like this. All that's programming. All of that is designed to make you a slave and dog walk you into a place where you can be reset without even knowing. That's the point. And until we start understanding, you said, I came to Jesus because of this. Well, if you're not able to identify a threat, identify patterns that associate what a threat is, know your rights, the Bible or a religious book is all based off of the maxims. The maxims are hidden in the Bible. It says, turn the other cheek, forgive. But it also says there's a time for peace and there's a time for war.
If you don't have a sword, buy one.
So at what point in time are you justified for the war? Because some people believe that they're justified for a war right now that I would call a genocide. Again, discernment is everything. My favorite book, my favorite story in the Bible, and this is hopefully going to wrap up what I am saying entirely. I believe that perspective is wisdom. The ability to see things in multiple different perspectives is everything. I can look at it in this perspective, this perspective, this perspective, this. That's why I'm able to straw man the other side. Because I have to be able to understand what my enemy would think. I have to. I'm a fighter. You train. You got to know when you're vulnerable. If you don't know when you're vulnerable, you're going to get tapped. That's the point. So my favorite story in the Bible is I believe it's Solomon, has the two prostitutes come to him with the baby, the dead baby, the baby. And she said, that prostitute killed her baby because she slept on it and she's trying to steal my baby. She's like, no, this is my baby. And King Solomon, I just love this vision. He goes, bring the sword. What a savage. That is so epic. Bring the sword. He didn't show his hand. Everybody's thinking, oh, this is horrendous. Why would he's going to chop the baby in half and give it to both of them? The woman who's the actual mother falls to the ground. The truth was revealed. Kill me. Do not
harm the baby.
That right there, ultimate wisdom. The other woman was put to death. The child and the mother were reunited. How was he in that exact moment able to identify what the threat was? How did he know in his mind? He asked for wisdom, remember? He was able to see things in multiple perspectives. And there's many people living in our world today that have no perspective other than what they have been shown to believe, to have. And that's the problem with our society. Until you start asking more questions. That's why I always ask questions. Have you ever heard of Ace Mannon? Have you ever heard of Badalin? Do you know what a UCC1 is? Do you know what being a secured party creditor is? Because when you're able to ask these questions and dive deeper and see the world in multiple aspects. And that's why I love the flat earth community, right? Because how crazy of an idea to believe that we're in a firmament and that the land, the space, might actually be space out. It might actually be more space. The Antarctic ice wall. What's beyond the ice wall? Is there an ice wall?
Nothing.
Right? So again, all of that to say, if our world isn't what they've told us, and we're now starting to figure that out on a very, very drastic level. The people that you looked up to are not who you thought they were. They're into things that you didn't think they would be. If all of the world is not what you believed that it was, and it's not to your benefit, then why are you continuing to consent in that reality? And what are you going to do to provide a solution to yourself and others? That's why I feel like I have the solutions. That's why I have a platform, and that's why I only make videos that provide solutions. I made a promise to myself a year ago. I used to do all the content. I used to talk about everything. I used to talk about all the corruption, all the stuff. But now everybody has a podcast. Now everybody has a show. Now everybody wants to parrot the same things into oblivion, into potential oblivion. They want to laugh their way into the grave. I'm not going to laugh my way into the grave. I am going to do everything in my power to lawfully revolt. And the moment we can lawfully revolt, we win. But you have to know the process. You have to have done enough research to understand how do we get there. Again, you ask, well, what do we do? Exactly. That's the point. That's the right question. What do we do, and how can we lawfully do it? How can we be justified in our actions? That's all anybody wants to know. How can I be justified in doing what I'm doing? Whether that's sacrificing a child, which is why they don't want to talk about it out in the open. My whole thing is be who you want to be out in the open. You have all these people in Hollywood. Hey, if you're a pedophile, I'll be that. But if you're going to harm my child, or you're going to...
Any child.
Exactly. Hear me out. Exactly. Injury. If there is no injury, there is no crime. To lay hands on a child in a way that does not benefit that child is the ultimate crime.
I agree with it.
No injury, no crime. I do unto others what you want done unto you. You wouldn't want that done unto you. So if you do that to somebody else, you've committed the ultimate crime. Again, be what you want to be out in the open. And if you're not out in the open, there's a reason why the Bible said, do not make oaths. Because guess what? Then you got to act in secrecy. And what is done in secret is done in secret for a reason. I live my life out loud. I just told you everything. I'm not someone that a lot of people might want to look up to. Oh, he's got multiple children from multiple women. He makes music. He makes rap music. He's a fighter. He wore some crazy stuff on the internet and went viral. Did he wear some BDSM gear? I'm not necessarily someone that people want to hear from or follow. Cool. I get that. But I'm going to live out loud and let you see my truth, because then you can judge me for who I am. And I have nothing to hide. My whole thing is, you could bury me with my DMs. A lot of people are afraid they're going to get exposed. Oh, if I send this girl this message, and you could put out every message I've ever sent, and I would stand on it boldly and proudly. Why? Because I am who I am, and all I want is for everybody to live abundantly, because I believe that we can. I believe that everybody can live abundantly, that everybody can have everything that they want if everybody came together and created new systems of change to be able to provide that. That does not mean socialism. That does not mean communism. That means if everybody had a garden, I could give you a mango. I don't have a mango today, but do you have a tomato I could borrow? I can give you a banana tomorrow. Well, I have a banana for you now, actually. I have eggs. I have chickens. Do you want some eggs?
Okay. I'm a woman. I have this body.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take it? This is prostitution. So we're going to the same result every time. I don't have a banana. I don't know how to grow a mango or a potato, but I have a vagina.
No injury, no crime. If someone willingly does something, no injury, no crime. Now, I want to help that woman understand. Here's the difference in that. Okay, I love that example. The difference in that example is willingness and consent. You ever thought about what makes a woman desirable to a man? We talked a little bit about it. Feminine nature. Mm-hmm. The feminine nature, pure feminine nature. The one that we want to protect. We see a little girl, we want to protect her because she's just out playing with her dolls. Right. The little boy, I love him. He could never, just so you know, no child could ever distract me. I love the playful nature because that's what we're all supposed to do. We're all put here to be children of God. And we're all actually put here to play and use our imaginations. And that is why fear stifles that. That is why we're supposed to dream. That is why they kill the dream. That is why they put the dream in Hollywood. And they think, if you have good music, you got to go to Hollywood. If you made it if you're in Hollywood. Good music is good music. You could have just played at your farm. Now we have the internet.
Especially now, right?
Exactly. Now you can do that. So that whole illusion is a lie. Right. So in the same regard, what makes a woman beautiful? Willingness. Willingness is what makes a woman beautiful. We don't want the woman who's going to sit here and argue with us or tell us what to do. That doesn't make any sense. I'm here to protect and provide for you. I also want your intuition because a woman's intuition is everything. Hey, what do you feel from this man?
Mm-hmm. They have one.
Bingo. What do you feel from him? I can't read him. What does your energy say? And I don't believe I could ever not read someone, but I got her intuition to protect me. Hey, I feel like this is coming up. I don't know what it is, but I feel this. Perfect. You want to know what makes a woman's intuition powerful? Her ability to feel safe. Because that's all she needs to do then. All she needs to do is take care of the child, if she has one, or feel safe and be loved. A woman has a pleasure spot for a reason. Because they're supposed to be pleased, desired, and if they're your wife and they prove worthy, in essence, worshipped. Not worship like, but sensually pleased, worshipped. Same thing. That is a willingness. We have a willingness to please, and they have a willingness to please us when they respect you. So if a woman is going to say, hey, here's me, the only way it's sexy to a man or desirable is if it's willing. That's why the inversion is Jeffrey Epstein and everything that they're doing, because it's not willing. There's a reason for the term grape and grapes and wine. There's a reason for that. Because that's not willing. I can't find anything attractive about a woman who is not willing to serve me. I can't. I've grown out of it. We need to teach men that same thing. If she has no desire to respect me and she's not willing to be peaceful, or then
I don't need your vagina.
Bingo. I don't need it.
It's like for 3 minutes?
Yes,
It's
I don't.
worth it.
I don't need it because I've got too many other things I'm building, and I have too many other people that want to be a part of my story and that I could spend time on. But I'm so focused on doing everything that I need to do to make sure that my legacy and my children are provided for. Because again, it goes back to the root cause of everything. The ultimate psyop to me is to not want life to continue on. If your legacy stops with you, then what is your life? Well, one could argue it is the people that you affect in your life. Agreed. That could also be a thing. Yes. How many people you impact while you're here. So if you never have children, I believe that is everything, right? How many people you impact. But how do you live forever truly? By continuing to give back to the world. God, and his example, gives you grass. It gives you water. He gives you dirt. He gives you everything that you need to be self-sustaining. You eat the food. You poop. You should poop in the grass. Why?
Fertilize.
Because you fertilize it. And if you continue that cycle, guess what?
It works.
If you eat a jackfruit, guess how many seeds you get? If you eat a watermelon, you ever cut open a watermelon? Also, don't eat non-seedless fruit. Don't eat seedless fruit. Only eat seeds. If you think about the Great Reset, why are they taking seeds away? Because it goes against the sacred, and it goes against life cycle. Seeds give you more, and you can plant them for free. You don't gotta buy them. You don't gotta buy them from Monsanto. You don't. We have them. They're right here. God gave it to you. There's the abundance. So what am I paying for? Convenience? For someone else to do something? Oh, now I get it. And if you understand what I just said, does it now make sense? Going back to the Social Security, how you're the labor. How you're the commodity. Some people believe that The Matrix is a documentary. I do too. And in The Matrix, we were all little batteries that fueled the Matrix. We can take that battery back in an instance. Why is it illegal to get rainwater? It comes from the rain.
But it's actually not true because according to 5.2, is it illegal to collect rainwater in
I think it depends where.
the US? Is there a place or a
I think a gentleman in Oregon just got arrested for it, if I'm not mistaken. But
is legal in the U.S. states today, including Oregon, but some states have rules or limits on how it can be collected or used.
it's still stupid.
Guys, so once again, some states have rules or limits on how it can be collected or used.
Interesting.
For example, Colorado, previously very strict, now allowed but limited, visually around 110 gallons per home in many cases. Why?
Yeah,
Utah,
that's right.
allowed but container size limits exist. Nevada, allowed but local water rights rules can apply. California, legal and encouraged, but it's legal, but hear me out. But plumbing codes apply if used inside homes. It's what? It's rain.
Yeah. But
Can you collect water with a bucket from the ocean? I believe. Yes, but
again, it's all commercial.
why restrictions existed historically? Excuse me. Western states especially follow water rights laws based on the idea that rain eventually feeds rivers and reservoirs already assigned to water right owners. I wonder if there was like a time or a state or a place like California 2025 January where the reservoirs were empty.
Yeah.
Empty.
Yeah. It's a great point.
Joel, two questions before we wrap it up.
Yep.
First of all, are you a member of some secret society?
I have been recruited many times by damn near all of them, but I always said no.
Why is there an all-seeing eye triangle and on your neck a tattoo of a triangle?
I love it. Perfect. Because nuance matters.
Please.
Nuance matters. So you see, and this is why I love this example, you see an all-seeing eye in a triangle on my neck. Did you know that it's an impossible triangle? Do you know what an impossible triangle is? No. Type in an impossible triangle.
Impossible triangle. Penrose triangle. It's an optical illusion showing a triangle that looks normal at first glance but cannot exist in real 3D space. Is it lying? Why are you laughing?
No, that was perfect. Okay. That was actually a perfect explanation.
Okay. Thank you, Sam Altman.
Yes. Absolutely.
$19.99 per month.
Yes.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Impossible triangle. Yes. So if what that says is real and you were to wrap that in a metaphor, that would say that I have the eyes to see it all.
It's like that ladder from the Inception movie?
Ditches. I mean, if they've inverted every single sacred symbol, I don't think a triangle is evil.
I don't think as well. It's just associates.
I don't think a circle is evil. I don't think the number 33 is evil. I don't think any of those things are evil. I think that they have been inverted. And the only way to take back power is to righteously invert them back. This says that I can see everything. I can see it all. And I'm not backing down.
Joe, the last question on the podcast is always the same. Let's have two assumptions with you. Assumption number one, the President of the United States of America, is the most powerful human being on planet Earth. Assumption number two, you become one. You become the President of the US. Once you do so, you have all these secret agencies, three-letter agencies at your disposal. CIA, FBI, NSA, you name it.
Disband them all.
They come to you and say, and tell you, congratulations, Mr. President, we are at your service now. We know all the answers in the world. You ask us a question, we're going to give you an honest answer. We're going to give you the truth. What would be your first question?
I would get together as many people as I could. I would drain the Federal Reserve and I would give it all back to the people.
Joel, question. Yes. What would you ask them?
With
a question mark. Not even a single question.
No, because I would disband it and I would take regular people and then do an audit. We would stop the world for 30 days, and we would take millions of people, and we would go into the White House, we would go into the CIA, we would go into the FBI, and we would go through all the archives to show everything that they're hiding from us. All the space alien technology, the black budget bullshit that they're hiding from us, anything that involves free energy, Nikola Tesla's findings that they took, all of it. We would take it all, and then we would make it public for the people, and we would use that technology to free the world. We are living in a society that is an illusion for a reason. They want us to pay for everything because they want you to be a slave. What if your birthright was to be free? I believe that we can be free now. That's the land of the free and the home of the brave. How many people do you know that are free and brave today? I don't know too many people that are free, and I don't know too many people that are brave. So I would create a society where someone who proves that they're free and brave deserves that reality. Stop the world for 30. We wouldn't even need 30 days. We wouldn't even need 30 days. I think we could do it in 15 to 20. Everything goes public. Everything that has been hidden from us that could benefit.
People would lose their minds.
Good.
People idolize, let's say,
Good.
idolize actor X, and you present them evidence him molesting a child.
Good.
It's going to cause chaos.
They're already crazy. People are already crazy. They live in a world that is fine with pedophiles being pedophiles and ruling over them and taking their money and doing God knows what with it, maybe even hurting a child while they watch the Super Bowl and cheer for teams. They act like their life is normal when they just watched millions of people die all around them and had to act like they didn't. They've been psyoped into believing that this world is real. It's not. I don't want to, I think that's crazy. I'm crazy to a lot of people. I was saying this 5 years ago when George Floyd happened. I was the most crazy person in Minnesota. I was a black man speaking out against the George Floyd riots, and I talk like this. I was adopted. I grew up adopted. I always ask God why. My mom gave me life, and she picked the parents that I have to raise me because they were Christian. And she thought that that would be the best opportunity that I would have at life. And I've always taken that for some reason, that I'm here for some reason. Maybe I was blessed with that I've always thought that my life mattered. And I wanted to impact as many people as I could, righteously, honestly, and be an example of possibility. That's what I think the world is missing. If we can eradicate childhood malnutrition through Alivea, and we can do it because I put my foot down, who can take that legacy away from me? Everybody wants to say, how can we save the children? What if I save 7 million? Or my Ripple does? I think that's incredible. What if I help millions of people reverse things that they're going through right now, that these corporations are making millions of dollars off of, that only hurt society? Cancer only hurts society. Diabetes only hurts society. All of these people only hurt societies. What if we have solutions to all of that, and it's found in the food? What if we already have solutions to our problems that are hidden in law? Speaking of, final plug, 333 solutions. This book breaks down 333 solutions and gives you the case law, the UCC commercial code, and why it works. Like traveling is a right, driving is commerce. Did you know that? Did you know that traveling is a right and driving is commerce? No. UCC 1-103A, equity recognizes distinctions of purpose. Kent versus Dulles, 1958, freedom of movement is a constitutional liberty. Use, private travel does not equal commercial transport. But I know everybody has a driver's license. Everybody has a driver's license. Isn't that interesting? We also have no jurisdiction without consent. We have labels must tell the truth, 118. Did you know that labels must tell the truth? And if they don't, that you have a case?
Affidavit.
Affidavit of truth?
Incoming.
All you got to, hey, labels, hey, wait. I told you my goal was to create solutions of change and give people power. And if you didn't know that labels must tell the truth and that 15 USC subsection 52 FTC Act, false advertising of food or drugs, is unlawful. If you didn't know that, well, guess what? Now you do when you have a claim. And all you got to do is go to sovereignlawofficial.com and follow the Dragon's protocol and get your remedy. If everybody did this, we flip the tables overnight and we win.
That's short question. Jesus is Lord or not? To you.
Jesus to me is the ultimate example of unconditional love and possibility for humans to be able to achieve. I think that love is the only religion. And I think that's what Jesus was hinting at. And a lot of people got psyoped into thinking it was supposed to be something else due to certain people in certain positions of power rewriting things, whether that's in the Bible. You know, now it's shown that the Pope was in the Epstein files, and we all know that the Catholic Church has a history of hurting people. Maybe they're not actually who they claim they are. I would argue that a lot of religion has been used to psyop. We see it now. I know that you're not big on touching the topic of what's happening over in the Middle East, and I respect that, but at the same time...
Me?
Yeah.
That's a genocide.
Okay, no, but I'm just saying, just getting into it, how like so many people get into it, right? But like you actually, we had a whole conversation, we never touched it.
Right.
And I respect that, I love that. But what I'm saying is, you can see that. And now if we take a whole look at religion, these same people that maybe, or this same entity that might be committing said genocide is actively trying to get one religion and another religion to go to war. Why? Because it fulfills prophecy. Whose prophecy? The prophecy of Revelation? Well, you have two, and this is where it gets very interesting, and this is where I think another psyop is happening. Again, pattern recognition. My pattern recognition says, okay, right now a certain group is being labeled a certain way. Genocidal, whatever. Then you have another group that says these things have to happen for our Messiah to come back.
Yeah, but he already came. His name was Jesus Christ, guys.
Okay. So here we have some Christians believe that all of these things have to happen for their Messiah to come back. And we have another group of people who actively are trying to make their Messiah come back.
The other Messiah. Their Messiah.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Okay. But it's all still a part of that, their story and their story. And they're conflicting stories, but some people over here believe that this story has to happen for them to be saved. To me, that's a psyop. You can't get saved by somebody coming back. And I think you would agree with that.
I'm already saved. That's
Bingo. Okay. Perfect. You're already saved. So if you're already, so here, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Perfect. So if you're already saved now, and I believe that you are because of what you said earlier and your belief in Jesus and that he's your savior.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you pick up the sword and fight, or do you allow revelation to happen? Or do you allow a potential reset to happen? Because I also believe that all of this is to trap souls. When you understand the Sestui QV trust and you understand the divine trust and some of these things and these principles, you would, and you look into the Vatican and what that actually is and how it might have been put in there to soul harvest, which is why the atrocities of children have happened there, because they're not actually there. Why is there a picture of Lucifer? Or why is there an evil picture in the Vatican at all? That doesn't make any sense. So I would ask you, at what point in time do you feel a Christian should pick up the sword and fight?
I only believe in self-defense. I don't believe in offense. I don't believe in any country going to other country, capturing a leader and doing trial of the other citizen, doing no harm to you on this soil.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I agree 100%. So
you guys in other countries, you do your own.
Yep.
America has to do its own. Pay taxes, please spend the taxes here. Veterans, teachers, firefighters, police officers, homeless, kids, single mothers, you would prosper like Dubai.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you get it. And I also feel like many Christians, and again, I wanted to be a pastor. I wanted to be a pastor for a very, very long time. And then I will say I had, let's just say, an awakening that changed my perspective. And my perspective of religion and God or Jesus and him being a savior grew. And I believe that it grew in a healthy way. And I absolutely respect and honor the example of Jesus.
Perfectly.
What I would say is many are psyoped, however, and believe that an external savior is supposed to come and save them, whereas the enemy of humanity is actively trying to enslave for good. Meaning, we don't know why it was so safe or why it was so effective, but it's being linked to potential beast systems where you can't do anything if you're not linked to it. But people are actively being linked to that system anyways without something that was safe, but very effective.
It was effective.
Oh, it was very effective, but at the same time, you're already being linked to that system. So regardless of if you got it or not, if they can seize your assets right now, based off of the new bill that they passed, then what are we actually doing? And when are we justified in picking up the sword and fighting? I believe that we can lawfully pick up the sword by sending those affidavits, starting that grand jury, and holding these people to account.